Sports Wave Network and the Sports Corner with the Conn Man. I have a very special guest. He goes by the name of Ronnie. Ronnie, how you doing, my brother?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing okay. Folks, I've been trying to get Ronnie on my show for a while, but due to my uh, two issues, we couldn't get it resolved. But I'm glad to have him on my show. You know, Ronnie, you are one of my favorite players of all time that I've ever seen. And before I give you the flowers, I want to touch back how far back. You know, was involved at that particular time, and you guys were at half court. We were all behind the basket, and if I remember correctly, I hope I'm right because if I'm wrong, I'm gonna look like a fool. But I think I remember it was you who didn't participate. You had like the low on, if I'm correct, not low, you know what I'm talking about. And you went up, did one of the tremendous I ever seen. Tell me that was you.
Say that again. You broke up a little bit when like I kind of.
Oh, the Boston Garden when the Boston shootout.
Oh, the Boston shootout. Yeah, yeah, the Boston shootout. I remember that.
Aha!
Yes, that was yeah, that was one of my favorite dunks. I tell people like you have a lot of different things that you try, that you done like that's probably game changing, and you get very few of them. But the good part for me in my career, I was able to have a lot of them. And sometimes people have to remind me that some of those things that I've done, and I have to look back when they break it down and be like, oh yeah, now I remember that one. So a lot of them is so different. It's hard to remember some of the things that I've done on the court. Yeah. So, but Boston shootout, I remember that one vividly.
Uh, uh, he was phenomenal. Again, because the reason why I wanted to it was to give you flowers. And I tall shirt. I even want a tall shirt for you. You know what I mean? One of my best friends in the world. One of my best friends in the world was Dave Lato. He was a two-time ball.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I know a little bit about Chicago, and we do have two mutual friends, Robert Bobby Reed, and of course the
John Reed. Yeah. I was on his I did a podcast with him and Marcus Liberty.
Yes, correct. Folks, I'm down because I know Ronnie's probably it might be a little humble. I'll break it down. 1995, he was second, two-time third-team All-American. In 1996, he was first-team parade All-American. And he's going to go on. Talk about, let's take it back, Ronnie. Let's take it back to the beginning. Let's take it back to, youth in Chicago and what got you involved in playing basketball. When did you find that you were that good? When did you find out that you could leap like nobody else?
I think for me, it was more like, and I realized it took probably my sixth grade year. I never forget. We was in gym class, and in the gym they throw the balls out. Everybody, some people jumping rope, some people doing other stuff. For me, I'm with some of the guys, and I'm still up here trying to, every kid when they little, they try to dunk the ball, especially back then when it was so big, right, to be able to dunk a ball. So what ended up happening was I kept trying, I kept missing, I kept getting close, right? This is my sixth grade year. So class was over, and the coach was like, hey, put the balls up, put the balls up. Everybody in class, go to your next class. So me, I'm like, man, I'm determined. I'm going to get this ball in here. Okay. So it's crazy what ended up happening. Everybody gone. I was the last one in the gym, and the coach was in there putting other balls away, and I still had one. I ended up finally dunking it, but wasn't nobody in there. Nobody believed me. Like I did. I went to all the guys, I dunked. Nobody believed me. Until as the summer came around, we on the playground, going to my 7th grade year, and then they see me dunk outside. That rim was 11 and a half feet, right? So what ended up happening when I realized, okay, I really can jump. Now I'm focused on like this skill I had, being able to do that. So next thing you know, 7th grade season come around. I never forget on a fast break. I dunked the ball so hard in 7th grade, and they called a technical foul. It shocked my teammates, and it shocked the referee. At that age level, that I was able to go in there and dunk the ball. So from that point, what ended up happening was now I'm like, okay, the adrenaline flowing is like, oh wow, I can dunk the ball. From there, shoot, man, look, I started going to every playground, playing, trying to dunk everything I can, because I'll be like, now I feel like I was able to do it consistently.
How tall were you at that time?
Man, I think at that time I had to be probably about 5'11". Yeah,
Yes.
about 5'11" at that time.
Now I know damn well no one your age was dunking except you.
Yeah, I think one of the most craziest things about that dunk is when I my 8th grade year, I took off from the free throw line.
What?
That was the first time I did that in the middle of a championship game for grammar school, and we ended up winning the 8th grade championship.
You did that in grammar school?
Yeah, in 8th grade. Yeah, yeah. That's a long time ago.
Hey, I don't know. Ooh, I don't know where to go. But
I, I, for me, my journey is like back then. There's a lot of things that young teenagers could have got into, but the biggest thing for me, it was a sport I love, and guys I idled and watched on TV, from Michael Jordan, Dr. J, Magic, Larry Bird, Larry Nance, Spud Webb. I watched a lot of these guys, Dominique Wilkins. So for me, I used to go in there and watch, and then go to the playground people was playing, and I go out there and try to implement those things I was seeing from them guys.
okay, now you said you were about grammar school. What transpired after grammar school?
Well, for me, at that time was when I was doing 8th grade. I was the number one 8th grader in the state of Illinois, right? And then my freshman year, I ended up being the number one freshman in the country. So for me, my journey with playing basketball, I got better so fast and probably earlier than most because of the adults that I was playing with when I was young. See, I played with adults, and how I looked at it, even though they was bigger, probably faster, stronger, I embraced the game even when I struggled out there with a smile on my face, even when they was blocking my shot. I was just happy to be out there with them.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So once I got used to those grown men and I got to high school, it was easy. Because I already was playing with those type of guys for 2, 3 years
Right,
as a,
right.
as a kid. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So my first year, I started varsity and averaged 17 points a game as a freshman on varsity.
What school was this?
Farragut High School.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think, and then there was me, I looked at the game every, young but exciting, and the opportunity to play every chance I could. That was one of the biggest things in terms of like why I couldn't wait to step on the floor and to compete. And I think that helped me and prevailed me to be one of the best players all the way through every year. Every year I played, I got better and better and better, and my ranking never faltered between 1 and 2 in the country.
Going into a sophomore year, I got something up my sleeve. Going up to sophomore year, what transpired?
My sophomore year,
Yeah.
um, I ended up playing with like one of the guys, Curtis Gaines. We ended up going. Matter of fact, we went to the city championship
Okay.
that year, and then the next year, my junior year. Not and on top of that, once you're one of the best players, you get invited to Nike camp,
Right.
right? So I
Mhm.
was invited there. That's when me and Kevin first met. Yeah,
Folks,
my sophomore year going into my junior year.
folks, he's talking about Kevin Garnett, by the way.
Yeah. So for that part was kind of unknown that my coach that coached me in high school ended up coaching him at the camp.
Oh,
So
okay.
so from there they stayed in touch, talked a little bit here and there. For me, I continued to play and get better and be the top player in where I was in Chicago. And what happened is that spring, that summer, I'm shooting a rap video for a friend that's doing dunks and stuff. And then that's when Kevin arrived, right there on the set when we was filming this video. My coach pulled up with him, and from that standpoint, it was just like it felt like me and him played together because right off the bat, it was instant chemistry.
Mhm.
So that's the thing that people don't realize. We was very successful, but we were successful because it didn't matter who was the leader. But for
Right.
me, I was like, look, you're a senior, I'm a junior. You take the lead, and we went from there.
Hmm.
And that's what made us a great duo.
Now, let me ask you a question. As great as you were, was it difficult to relinquish that to Kevin at that time?
No, not when you're a true basketball guy that want to win.
Okay.
It shouldn't be that hard. Like great as I was, and I was secure of who I was because I already accomplished a lot. So
Hmm.
having another great player, you can accomplish even more past even that, and that's where it was. It showed. Like when you partner with a great player like that, it's no ego should be involved, especially if your common goal is both to win. And for me, that was easy. Our common goal was both there to win. So
And I,
that's why it worked so well.
right, when I put up a post that they asked me, oh, Ronnie played with Kevin Garnett? No, I said Kevin Garnett.
Yeah, he came here for us to team up. Came up here to team up together.
And it worked out fantastic. So now let's go into your senior year.
Yeah. So my senior year, I still ended up being the top player in the country. And like I said, um, it was at the time it was me and then Kobe, may rest in peace. He came out of nowhere to be he was ranked up there with us. So at the time it was like, man, you're hearing about from my comparison at the moment, it was like, Mike Bibby, Jermaine O'Neal, I got Tim Thomas,
Hmm.
um, Shaheem Holloway, Steven
Okay.
Jackson,
Hmm.
um, all of these guys in that class. Our class was really deep,
I can,
really deep. So
yeah.
what ended up happening was um, when they looking at, all right, man, we got these two best players in the country, me and Kobe. I mean, in terms of how it can be 1A and 1B. So as what happened was we was gonna be on opposite teams at the McDonald's game. I end up, fortunately end up having a car accident, but I couldn't compete in that. But my senior year, that's what ended up happening there, where, like, had a great senior year. I was still one of the top scorers in Illinois, but going to the playoff, that's my senior year. I didn't get a chance to play in the playoff games because of my accident and stuff. But if I would have been able to play, I probably would have been Illinois' all-time leading scorer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ooh, that was, do you think
Huh?
been what might have been?
From the basket? No, this is how I look at life. And you
Okay.
don't know that when you're a young kid. We all look at, and it's easy to say, all right, well, if this, if that, right?
Right.
Mistakes are part of life,
Yep.
but you don't want to make mistakes where yourself end up severely being hurt, or you hurt someone else. So every opportunity you get to live each and every day, and you grow and you pay attention to, when you have one of those life-threatening situations, your eyes open up more and more, right? That's only if you're mentally strong to understand the strength within yourself and the purpose, right? If you have a purpose for yourself, but also God have a purpose for you. So when I understood that, that's what continued to motivate me in life, to do the ultimate thing that every human being on this earth wants to do: succeed and grow and be better than what you was when you came into this earth, and successful where you it made and left a good lasting impression in the eyes of people that looked up to you, admired you, and those things. So I look at my journey, and it's still writing itself. I'm the first player in Illinois history to win Mr. Basketball and then Coach of the Year.
I was going to bring that up. I was going to bring that up next, but we'll go on that. I'll give you a shout out for that too. But you had that accident, and that curtailed your career. But you
Uh,
got to be physically fit to be able to play.
yeah, I think, like, put it like this. I look at the reason, like, I'm so grateful and thankful, and I don't like have no regrets of playing in the NBA, is this is the main reason. If you ever came close to being dying or paralyzed, you would understand that when I say this. In that situation, that car accident, you had three things could have happened. I could have died,
Mm-hmm.
be paralyzed, or come out the way I am today. So in that sequence, I want to say Dodge two are the worst case scenarios for my life.
Right.
And I don't think in those situations, if those things happen, I'm not here to be able to coach and give back and mentor kids, or physically able to do what I'm able to do.
It's outstanding. Now, you ended up playing overseas. You played in the CBA.
Yeah.
Folks, I'm gonna give it because I know he won't, but I will. I'm gonna let you know a little bit about his 2004, 2000, three-time All CBA first team, 2003, 2004, 2008. He was a scorer in 2003, 2004. But check this. He was also named on CBA All Defensive Team in 2008. He also four-time CBA leader in tackles 2003, 2004, 2006, 2008. I think I might be missing something here. He was three-time All CBA first team.
Yeah.
So you
And
didn't
I
make it to CBA. But
and
as you said,
I was one that, like, and I hold almost every record except the rebounding record in Rockford Light and CBA basketball history.
Incredible. Now, I'm going to ask a question that my probably might ask. How much of that did you obtain or retain from the act?
Well, I tell you this, I didn't. I still was able to, you know, grow my game in other ways. I still was athletic, but I wasn't the explosiveness that I had before my accident. I didn't have that same after that.
Right.
It wasn't the same. I still can do certain things, but that's when I had to refine my game with a lot of things, learning footwork, understanding angles, how to get my shot off, and how to still attack and be successful. So those things that I added later on to be able to sustain a career.
And no, and Ronnie, to be able to be as great as you were in the CBA after a devastating accident is absolutely
Yeah.
incredible. Tell folks, let's get to the bottom line. I tell people, let's ask your best. How high was your vertical? Let people,
And my vertical,
yes.
oh man, it was like a 50. Please. I used no, it's a thing that called, but I believe in every athlete that jump knows this. It's a called adrenaline vertical, and then your non-adrenaline vertical, right? In moments in games, your adrenaline and stuff you're able to do in a game give you an extra 6, 7, 8 inches in terms of jumping, right? It's so different compared to like no crowd dunk contest. You can do so many different things, and that's one of the things. It was like I have moments at times where it has shocked me, and things where um I was like, wow, damn, did I just jump over that guy? Yeah. I mean, you start to be like, man, the Lord created me a little different.
I think he did. I think he did.
Yeah.
Because doing stuff, now that was in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
That out
Yeah.
here, damn sure. You know what I
And
mean? That is incredible. Now, what, I'm going to go back a little bit. What was it like playing in Chicago? You know, so many great ball players came out of Chicago. What was it like playing in front of all them crowds? I mean, that had to be crazy.
I tell people that back then when the fans and the way basketball was, when people came to support and cheer and love the brand of the sport, that's because we was watching some of the greats compete so hard to where that's all we knew. Watching the Michael Jordans, the Birds, the Magics, the McHales, those games, and we took that type of style and that brand that helped us, and that's the only thing we knew how to do was to compete hard. So when you people come to the game and they just ain't getting the show from athletically, they also getting it from a physical, aggressive, get out of it style as well that entertained the crowd.
I mean, that had to be amazing. You know,
Say that again. Couldn't hear you.
we're finished with your high school career and you went on and did your CBA thing. How many years did you play in the CBA and overseas around? You played
I
like,
went back and forth between CBA and overseas for about, I ended up playing close to maybe 15, 16 years.
wow, that's incredible, incredible.
Yeah.
What were your fondest memories of playing in Chicago? Now, hold on, go there. We all know, and I know you,
You say what?
you really gain your respect when you're playing in the playgrounds. That's where you get respect. You are, but I mean, what was your memories of playing back in the day?
Well, for me, I look at my journey, and then I look at players I was able to play with, players I was able to play against, and impacts that I had that as a young kid to see people you change lives in terms of what they admire, what you do and bring. Those things always stick with me because I see it today when I get a lot of people that message or and I'm very grateful and thankful for the impact that I made and that people admire what I did and what I accomplished. So my fondest memory is like, of course, playing with KG and the guys I played with, but being able to accomplish a lot of things that a lot of players never accomplish. And
Mm-hmm.
it's one thing to be able to play the game for everybody that's still able to continue their career. Another thing is to still be viewed as that figure across the world when you go to countries and they putting up on big old billboards all your highlights of what you done when you was young. So it's like that's when you know how much of impact you have had in this basketball community.
And Ronnie, if anything that I could do, I'm going to make sure. Not that I'm alive and well. I guarantee you that. But I want to do now is because all my guests, I like them to have an impact, and you sure have an impact on my life. Now go into what y'all proud of, probably. You form a team, and you coach. Talk about that. Your Ronnie Fields elite team. Talk about that.
So for me, when I retired from basketball, had some
Okay.
friends. I had guys that was friends that had AAU team. He was like a little fifth grade team. He's like, Ronnie, you should do this to give back and help develop kids. And that's the thing I didn't know. What I found out about myself, patience and personalities of kids and the way the era in life has changed from when I played to
Right.
adjust my style of teaching or motivating or leading and caring was more needed than the status quo of coaches, hardcore, yelling, getting into you, those type
Right.
of things that you couldn't coach that way in this era. So I had to find a balance, right? So I never had a desire to coach in high school. I just wanted to coach, travel and develop kids and see those kids going to be and do well and something they enjoy and give kids opportunity that most people probably didn't think was good, but was finding something in them that can help contribute to a team, right? And then I have some friends, opportunity came with hope and some friends that's, tied to the high school was like, you should try and coach high school. I said, okay, I want to do it for a reason for all the kids that some coaches may don't think can help or believe in or finding a gym where a kid can contribute. Maybe not being the greatest shooter or maybe not being the greatest athlete, but able to do something I can find in there and put them in there that can help the team. So I wanted to test that theory for myself. And
Mm-hmm.
that was one of the things going to high school that I was able to do in the first year with a brand new young team, smaller team.
Mm-hmm.
We end up able to, put those things together and make it downstate and finish third in the state. Um, my first year, and now this is my second year. We trying to make another run.
And the school you're referring to is Hope Academy. Am I
Yes,
correct?
Chicago
I did,
Hope Academy.
Lonnie, I did a little homework. You know what I mean? But let me ask you, a lot of great players who have great athleticism, sometimes because
Yeah,
even talent, and some can't accept.
right, exactly. So
But
this is
so how do you handle that?
so for me, this is the biggest thing I learned. When you're a great player, you got to learn when as a player to put back the way you played and approached the game to
Right.
where it's like not expecting people to be able to do and have an impact like you. You got to find their strength, their niche, what gets them going, and what they great at, and put that in a system that helps them excel. And not think, oh man, if I was out there in this play, I would have done that. You do that right there, you got to start thinking those kids might be not gifted and understand the game like you did.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I learned right away not to inflect how I would approach certain things physically out there that I can do on them, knowing they can't do that. So when I understood that part with kids and put in a situation where they can be successful and what they do well, that helped a lot.
And and funny, the fact too is that you've done at the high I have that same respect for Tom Joe. You know what I mean? Where you that had that platform, so you're able
Yeah.
to reach
And
out to these kids.
that's the thing too in this day
Yeah.
and age with a lot of the younger kids. And this and I'm hoping this change and I can make that change is that kids allow guys to coach them even if they didn't play at the highest level, but they actually do they study and understand how to motivate and get the best out of you. To coaches give those guys opportunity to coach them, right? But
Mm-hmm.
coaches also got to look deep inside of every player that they do have on their team when they chose to pick and find a strength inside of them that can contribute to the team.
Now, Ronnie, I've been refereeing for 40 years. I still referee. And I get all that. And I want to get your feeling or your take on AAU ball the way it is today. And I'm talking about AAU ball. I'm talking about, I guess, recruitment players,
Just
that nature, recruitment players, things of that nature. What's your take on the AAU overall today?
for me, this is what I love for AAU to be. I understand the Nikes, the shoe companies,
Mm-hmm.
and the things they have to do to try to have the elite players. We had Nike camp, so I understand that. But for the vast majority, it's millions of kids playing basketball. So the problem is for the kids that may not be Nike elite players, but good solid players, you're gonna miss kids along the way. Look at the John Morants. Look at all those guys that went to those universities, Dame Lillard. So people miss. I mean, everybody ain't gonna get it right, but it's some people that may have a nose for understanding they could get things out of a kid that most coaches can't, right?
Exactly.
So for me, I always look at it like if you're gonna play AAU from the ages of third grade through seventh or eighth, hone the skill that stands out where a coach be like, okay, hey, this kid right here, I can do this, this, and this with, right? And the number one thing, even now, that I prefer from me, mental toughness on the floor, right? That's from coaching. That's from going through adversity, making mistakes, and still getting out of it like that mistake didn't happen and on to the next play. Because when you
Mm-hmm.
got that, more likely as a coach, you don't got that player looking over at you every mistake they make, and they know the coach also trusts you to go out there and make up for the mistake and play. So I like to take that pressure off the kid and let them play freely. So when you do that, the kids of these days be like, all right, I'm gonna bait and bust my butt because even if I make mistakes and I come out for a minute, coach putting me back in the game. So what I did with AAU, I used that to learn how to be a better coach and learn how to try things that, and there's not consequences as much to win than it is for high school, college, and pros, right?
Correct.
So in AAU, you can use to sharpen up your coaching, different things that you can look at with kids and see, oh, how does offense work for this team, or this defense work for this team, or this work for that team, or this player. So I used all these years of doing those things to learn and continue to keep learning to get better because I'm learning more and more as a coach, personnel, mentality. Every day I step on the court. So I like to use spring AAU for those kids to help them to say, all right, now, this is some of the things you would probably want to do as you get to high school if you try to impress your coach. And it's not dribbling the air out the ball, right? It's
Correct.
understanding that you can read and react and rotate um, and make good decisions out there and play through mistakes when you make them. Mental toughness. That's what I like to look at.
Okay, now coach, I'm a young girl. I'm, okay.
Say that again.
If I'm a young boy or girl, and I want to play AAU. Why?
Because a couple things. When I coach, and then the way you coach in this day and age, you got to have patience. And not only that, you got to have patience, you got to meet them where they at right now. And slowly, you got to learn to like trust that I have the best interest for you and getting you better, right? But
Mm-hmm.
that only comes from them trusting how you care about them and them getting to know you. You can't go right into just yelling at no one that don't know you. Because I don't care how much you know from coaching, that's still not going to register in these kids today if your first thing is yell.
Yeah, correct.
They got to know you care, you want them to succeed, and you want them to get better. But that comes through opening up yourself to them and letting them know who you are and what you want, what's best for them. And that's what I do.
And it's a great thing because we do have a lot of youth looking on my show as well. If you could give this, I believe, if you could give advice to the parents, to the parents,
For
what would
me,
you tell these
for me,
parents?
this is my advice to parents. And I know it's hard because in this day and age, you know, yes, every parent wants their kid to be successful because they believe that's the passion of something that the kid like. And that's nothing wrong with it. But I think
Right.
sometimes parents got to be realistic in terms of where their kid at. And
Correct.
if they enjoy the sport or they love the sport. See, enjoying it, being a part of something, that's great as well. Because you learn team camaraderie, you learn how to cheer for others that may be better than you and you're part of something. But if you're in a
Mm-hmm.
situation knowing you're not as great as the others, and then your parent is have these high expectations, it's not that the kid's not a good player that contribute. He's just a kid that's not better than these guys. So it's a balance of like getting out there to support them and not their bad player, but as a coach, our job is to motivate and try to get the best out of them as a team and as a player as well. So my advice is for parents to just like enjoy, come there, let the coaches coach. And I know, hey, look, it's hard in situations because every coach is not going to be like me and think like me. So,
Correct.
that's the hard thing for parents as well. And I get that. Well, how you can do this and how you can be able to make this kid this and give him this chance and other coach go, well, everybody had their own philosophy,
Mm-hmm.
right? Whether it's fair or unfair to the kid, which I hate because the kid is the most important thing in it for me. But it's in this day and age over the past 5, 6 years has been more fights, more, Parents going after referees, all this stuff that is so sad right now that people can't be realistic about what's happening out on the floor. And it ends up hurting the kid. But what it ends up doing, as the coach got to make decisions, that energy start to trickle down into the team.
Exactly.
So now you got kids amongst this and parents dividing teams. So for me, what I learned is, if you're going to put yourself in a situation where you're going to let your kid poison or try to poison another team, then you have to remove that. You got to remove that kid. Because if you're not on the page of team camaraderie, of waiting for your opportunity and cheering for the guys in front of you, then right there you're a cancer to the team. Because now what ends up happening is, you take one or two to be like, man, well, you should be playing. Well, you should be out there. Well, what happens? It trickles down. And for me, I stopped that right away. You're going to let me coach and let me do what I do? And that's what that is. And if I feel it's interfering with the whole team that's getting better and the kids are competing and playing together, and you trying to infiltrate that, then I have to make a different decision on removing that kid.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the biggest things that I learned in this. Hard, but that's what you have to do as a coach when you deal with that. It's like, focus on the guys that there, and hopefully the kids that there cheer and want to be there regardless of how many minutes they get, and the guys that's in front of them and that's better. And be a part of something. So that's the way I approach that.
Now, you have a parent, again, coming to you as a coach and saying, oh, how come my kid is getting 25 minutes? He's only getting 10.
I always have this. It's like, in this day and age, they call receipts. The good part about, for me, I played the game. Good part about, for me, I had role players around me as being the best player, and how important their roles was to my success as well. Not individually, but as a group. It's easy to go out there and get 35 points and look up and your team is losing.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
That don't mean you great. You great by yourself in scoring, but you bad as a team player. For me, my success, every team and where I played, we won and competed along with me averaging 25, 30 points a game, because guess what? I needed those other players around me. Period. To be successful as a team, even though you
Right.
might be the star and get the credit, you need your team around you.
Absolutely.
Period. That's what's called a winner. Right? So I look at it like, if a parent comes to me saying that, I'm like, look, this is what I see, this your role, and then I don't like to do this. When I have to break it down every step of the way, starting from practice habits. Mm-hmm. What I see when this happened, those situations, because what parents don't realize, with a coach like me, if I say, all right, well, you want me to do this, and I say, all right, I'm going to give him this chance, and I'm going to give him guidance on what to do. But if I know he's not mentally strong and tough yet, in a situation where 7, 8 other guys out there sweat and did everything to try to win this game, and I put him in there, and he make 2 of the biggest mistakes, and everybody from the other parents look at him, now guess what? You got to go home with your kid feeling like he lost the game. And the other kids mad saying, Coach, why you play him in there in this situation? Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? So parents don't understand that part of basketball. So what I like to do is save them from themselves. Or I would show them better than I can tell them.
I like that.
Yeah, I learned that. I'm like, all right, you want me to show you something. This sad, but you have to put the kid out there to see why they're like, look, and even giving the kid instruction. Hey, this is what they gonna do. This is what I need you to do. Put them in the right situation. But mentally, if he haven't built that strength yet, and learn and train through it, then he's not going to know. And you throwing him in the heat of the fire in something that the other 8, 9 kids that helped build up to lose. You can't do that, because now you got one kid and you got 7, 8 other parents against your kid, or you as a parent. Well, why you put that kid in there? You see what I'm saying? And people don't understand. It's like you put your kid in a difficult situation when you come out asking coaches all this and that. That's for me, in my opinion, my point of view, what I seen.
So I'm glad you said that because that's real. That's facts. I'm so happy that you brought that up because a lot of parents tune in. And
For me, as a coach like me, I tell you this, Michael, I try to break down every instant and every little piece of what I think a kid can do from bringing. Let me tell you what I did last year. I had a player, one of my seniors, that I felt that was an integral part of us going all the way and winning the championship. Where they told me, Ronnie, don't gamble on this kid because he quit everything he do, right? And I'm like, no, I believe in this kid. Give him a chance. This is my first year there. Well, I called a lot of my great coaches, guys in NBA, guys coaching NBA, college coaches, high school coaches, and asked what would they do. They told me, look, you can't bring a kid like that back to your team and you're doing well. But I said, I want this kid to be a part of some things that's special where this team can end up going, right? So all of them said, don't do it. What I do, I bring them back, right? So I bring him back, and he's ineligible. So he needed to get his grades fixed before playoffs start. So now I'm already playing with a young sophomore point guard, a young sophomore 4-man, and 2 seniors and a junior. I mean, and a freshman. I brought the freshman up when people like, you bringing the freshman up for the state playoffs and started him. I said, yeah, I am. I started that freshman every game. It took us to the Final Four. And people were like, wow. I said, because I believe and I see certain things in people that most people wouldn't be like, but he a freshman. Yeah, and that kid helped take us all the way there. Who played on the freshman team. So those things right there were so important and valuable to teaching and coaching. It's like trust and use the experience as a player. Myself, I not looking at myself as like even being the star player everywhere I played, but what it took me to win with the role players that I had around me that made the team great. So I look at my mindset of those role players that was always around me. Oh man, this kid did this so good. This helped me with this. This guy did this so well. So I pieced the team and certain things of plugging them in. Right? So that's where, like I said, for me, I learned that what I try to do and hopefully give kids opportunities. Even I told them, I told some of the senior guys, hey, y'all know I would go play these freshmen on varsity if you don't focus, right? So you have to help build mental toughness in the kids today, along with the skill second, right? Most people spend more time working on the skill, but in a live game, pressure situation, a lot of kids, you be like, man, can play, but not in pressure situations.
oh, we know what happens. What happens?
Exactly. So I really work on the mental part of it with my players and putting them in the right position.
Because you've been there, you know.
Yeah, and that's why I said I know what helped prevail me in life: mental toughness.
And you got receipts.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I have receipts for that.
Well, Ron, you know what? Is there anything that maybe I should have asked you or I didn't ask you that you might want to relay to the viewers?
I think um, just no. You asked some amazing questions, especially with just talking about you know with the parents, the AAU stuff,
Mm-hmm.
um, the coaching, all those things is valuable, especially today on the journey for however long I stay in the coaching. But I think it's more to just the fact of from a situation where just go out there and throw the ball up and play. Just go out there and work on just your dribbling and all that. It's a lot different because in high school, you're not going to get away with all of that.
No,
It's
no,
different
no.
defense designs. It's a lot different from AAU where you can dribble all day long and do all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes with AAU, give kids false hope of what basketball in high school is really like because you're not going to be able to do that in high school. So what
No,
happened with a lot of kids go play AAU and play on some of these teams, be like, oh, I played well in AAU, I should be. Well, guess what? AAU don't have no film, they don't have no scouting, and they don't have a system that
correct.
when you play against other teams in high school, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 game film tapes, they can watch.
That's
So
so true. Let me we got only about maybe about 5 more minutes left. What's your take on NIL?
um man, being a young black man coming from the west side of Chicago, and not coming up like I was okay but not having every like able to get everything in life at a young age. But NIL, I look at it in a couple ways. Now as a player, um you look at it where the people that come to watch you, the eyes, the name, the brand you put out there, I think a kid, you should be compensated for it, right? But also, it's the bad part about it is kids don't go through an adversity enough to build the character they need to do in life. Like you can have the money, but then if you're getting it in the way of just off of moving from place to place to the highest bid, or that's what you're going for before you get it, you're not going through no adversity to build character and then winning yourself in the long term. It's like, boom, here you go, here you go, here your money. Oh, I'm good. So do you continue to keep working hard for something? Or you say, you know what, I'm gonna go here next. Where you it's like now, it's a very select few that can get away with that in life. But for many they can't. Because
That's true.
a lot of them ain't gonna have meal tickets outside of that to go play professional. So learn to go through some things, bounce back from those things, and it helps you in the long run in life. Like we living in this microwave society right now. We want it
Mm-hmm.
fast, right? And that's the part that scares me the most with a lot of our young youth, right? We want them to be successful, but we also want them to handle anything that they can face by going through it once they start to getting older and they out here on their own in life. So
That's the important part, man. What you're saying is so true because you know, grew up like we did. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I just think you gotta work and earn everything you get. And I think with the NIL, I think they're paying for potential, not for it.
well, I think they look at it like this. It's like I said, in life, you can only keep getting away with something for so long to it's gonna be someone that bring light to it that also open up other doors for other things that generate more money, but also more problems, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what ended up happening with NIL, it opened the door for players to receive money and name off of what they done and what they can bring to a team, right? And paying their guys, because it's almost like professional athlete. You got millions of eyes watching on TV, hundreds of thousands of people at the stadium selling out every game, and they there to watch the team and certain players that bring this charisma and style to entertainment, which yes, they should be compensated for. The problem is that it's very few of those guys can do it. And the ones that think they deserve it and can't, they start to make moves in life just to try to achieve that, not realizing, hey, you might have to go the hard way through this. It's only very few. Yeah. I mean, because if people looking like this, 50, 60, 70 kids on the football team, they get playing NIL to all y'all. I mean, if you start going down that, you might well just gonna be giving them salaries more than every 30 or 40 of man, the last 30, 40 players on the NFL team.
Right.
So, I mean, and that's one of the biggest things, like you said, you want kids to be rewarded, but you also want them to continue to work and earn it and go through the adversity, right? Because what good is it to gain everything and lose your heart and soul, right?
Exactly.
Because when you gain everything and you lose it, you don't have the heart and the mentality to know how to get it back.
Right. You know, the important thing is the journey. We know that it's the journey. It's the journey that's the important thing, you know. And Ronnie, man, I want to thank you so very much. You know, I've been you have an open invitation to come on my show anytime. And
Thank you.
Going on, I'm here to give you your flowers. If anybody watching this wants to contact you in any way, shape, or form, how would they be able to get in touch with you?
Yeah, just tell them to look. They go to Ronnie Fields Elite. That's my Instagram handle. And then from there, they can message me. If there's anything, like I said, if they got kids that want to get developed, train, or work on their game, or play travel ball this spring, or anybody like want advice on if they want to learn or get into coaching, or how to teach and handle certain situations in this field of coaching and teaching, then they can contact me and just message me at Ronnie Fields Elite on my Instagram page.
Well, Ronnie, again, thank you so very much. You are.
Thank you, man. That's an honor. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
It's fact. Believe me, it's fact. I want to thank you again. Ronnie, man, thank you so much. Take care. God bless.
Thank you. God bless, Mike. All right.
You got it. Folks, goddamn. You know, I've done quite a few shows, man. If you check me out, I'm talking I don't even know what the hell to say. This guy was phenomenal. When I tell you 50-inch vertical leap, 50-inch vertical leap. Saw him at the Boston Garden. Heard about him. Had the opportunity to see him live. In that dunk contest was a guy by the name of Pat Ewing, et cetera, et cetera. And it was an honor to have him. And, you know, these guys, for him to come on my show, he's been on shows all over the world. You can look him up on YouTube, any damn tube. He's all over the place. You check out his highlights. He looked like a damn cartoon, and it was a great honor. You know, I'm just thankful that, you know, I was able to get him on my show. I got to give a shout out to Robert Bobby Reed, as well as the OG John Reeves, who will be on my show next Friday, the 14th. I think that's the 14th, yes. But stay tuned, because this Friday, I'm going to have my man, Mike Myers II, the CEO, commissioner, electrician, plumber, everything of the NBA. Now, we had him on our show back, I would say, maybe 3-4 years ago. He was just starting out with the NBA, which is the Military Basketball Association, and he was just starting out. He was just trying to get out there. Well, fast forward to maybe a couple years ago, the NBA was on national TV, CBS. My man is doing some phenomenal things. And, excuse me, what we'll be talking about now, not only does he have the NBA, he has the WNBA, the Women's Military Basketball Association. We're going to be discussing that. We're going to be talking about his his ventures and all the things that he does and, what it involves. They got a big championship in May, which will be televised on CBS. And I think I'm out of time. But you know what? It's been a great honor to have Ronnie Fields on my show. I am very rarely do I get awestruck, but this time I definitely got it. But it was a great honor to have him on my show. And I'm going to again thank my producer, Key Williams, for helping me do what I do, man. This is like one of my best shows one of the best guests I've had, because even though we're the same age, he was an idol to me, because, we didn't get to see that 50-inch vertical leap dunk. Just go look at his highlights. Well, anyway, I got to go for now, but stay tuned to this Friday on Sports Corner with the Conn Man on the Sports Wave Network. We'll be having Mike Myers the second. It'll be at 5 o'clock live on the Sports Wave Network. Thank you guys for tuning in, and those that may catch the replay or whatever. I just want to thank you. I hope you all get a chance to see this video, because my man Ronnie Fields did the damn thing. So you guys take care. God bless. Stay safe. Thank you so much.